Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to completely shatter one of the biggest, most widespread internet myths of our time. You know the one, the idea that cats just don't love us. We've all seen the memes, the jokes, the endless stories painting cats as these cold, calculating little roommates who are literally only tolerating us for the free meals. But today? Well, today we are looking at some incredibly fascinating science that proves that entire idea completely wrong.
I mean, it kind of feels true sometimes, right? I'm sure you've had that exact moment where your cat just casually strolls right past you, totally ignores you calling their name, or just sits there staring blankly at a wall instead of even acknowledging you exist. The internet has thoroughly convinced us that cats just don't love people, that they're emotionally distant, aloof, and independent to a fault. But I'm here to tell you, this widely accepted cultural belief, it's completely backward. You actually haven't been ignored. You've just been reading their language wrong.
And honestly, the core of this whole misunderstanding comes down to this simple comparison right here. As a society, we mistakenly judge cats using dog rules. Dogs are just overtly expressive, right? They jump all over you, they wag their tails frantically, they lick your face like you've been gone for a decade. Cats, on the other hand, well, they operate strictly by cat rules. Their signs of affection are super subtle. A quietly blinking eye, a soft stare from across the room, or honestly, just their silent presence near you. When we expect those dramatic, high-energy dog greetings, we literally miss the nearly invisible signs of feline affection.
Which brings us to Section 1, the 2019 Attachment Study.
So, to really understand this, we've got to turn to the science. Back in 2019, there was this groundbreaking study out of Oregon State University that finally tested feline emotions. And they did it in such a clever way. Instead of inventing a brand new test, they used the exact same attachment tests that psychologists have used for decades on human babies. They wanted to answer one big central question. Do cats actually become emotionally attached to their owners? To figure it out, they took an owner and their cat, put them in a completely new, unfamiliar room, and then the owner left. The cat was completely alone. Researchers closely watched the cat's reaction during the stressful separation period, but more importantly, they watched exactly what happened the second the owner walked back through that door.
And the results? They absolutely shocked the public. 65% of the cats in this study demonstrated a secure attachment to their owners. 65%. This definitively proves that a massive majority of cats genuinely view their humans as a profound source of comfort and safety when they're in a strange environment. They absolutely were not just hanging around waiting for someone to crack open a can of tuna. They actually genuinely cared about their human being there.
So the crucial point is secure attachment. Basically, it's a strong emotional bond where the subject views their caretaker as a source of ultimate comfort and safety. But what's absolutely mind-blowing about that 65% figure we just talked about is that it's almost exactly identical to the secure attachment rate found in human infants. Let that sink in for a second. Your cat's emotional reliance on you is scientifically comparable to a human baby's reliance on their parent. Just incredible.
All right, moving on to Section 2, decoding silent cat signals.
Now that we know the love is actually real, it's time to put on our detective hats. If they love us so much, how on earth are they showing it? Well, we're going to decode the nearly invisible microactions your cat uses to say they trust you. Because once you know what you're looking for, I promise you're going to see these signals everywhere. Let's walk through 3 common but super misunderstood behaviors. First up, the slow blink. If your cat looks at you and slowly closes and opens their eyes, they aren't bored or sleepy. No way. That is absolute trust. Second, a tail standing straight up like a flagpole as they walk toward you. That's their feline way of saying, hey, I am so happy to see you. And third, just sleeping beside you. Even if they aren't physically touching you, they are actively choosing your company. Now to other felines, these signals are crystal clear. But us humans, we usually miss them entirely.
Next up, Section 3, the secret behind meows.
Okay, let's pivot from body language over to vocalizations for a second. We all know cats meow, right? But here is a wild scientific fact. Adult cats almost never meow at other adult cats. In the wild, they rely heavily on scent and body language to talk to each other. The meow is actually a behavior they've specifically adapted just for us. Over thousands of years of living together, cats realized that humans respond to sounds. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how they actually developed an entire vocabulary of meow strictly to manipulate and communicate with humans. One specific pitch means, I'm hungry. A sharper, totally different meow means, hey, pay attention to me. Some cats even develop a completely unique special greeting meow that they reserve exclusively for their absolute favorite person.
They aren't just making random noises. They've literally learned a foreign language just to talk directly to you. And then, of course, there's the physical contact. To demystify that adorable habit of head bumping and rubbing against your legs, we really need to look at biology. Cats have these specialized scent glands located right around their cheeks and their foreheads, and they use these glands to leave their unique scent on objects around the house and, more importantly, on their people. When your cat gives you a little head bump or aggressively rubs their cheek against your shin, they aren't just begging for food or scratching an itch. Leaving their scent on you is this invisible chemical conversation. To another cat, that specific scent is a crystal clear sign of friendship. It quite literally translates to, "You belong with me." Every single time they rub their cheek on you, it is a profound statement of belonging and affection. How sweet is that?
Let's head into section 4. Independence is not indifference. Now, it's super easy to hear all this and still wonder, okay, but why aren't cats just a little more obvious about it? Well, to understand why they act so vastly different from pack animals like dogs, we have to look back at their evolutionary history. We really have to recognize that independence is not the same thing as indifference. Their wild ancestors were solitary creatures. They hunted alone and didn't need a pack for survival or social structure. And our modern house cats, they still carry that independent DNA. A great way to think about it is kind of like a confident kid on a playground. That kid is going to run off, explore, and play completely on their own, but they'll frequently glance back just to make sure their parent is still sitting on the bench. Your cat wanders the house independently, but they are quietly tracking your location, maybe even sleeping on your clothes when you're gone, because your presence and your scent provide their baseline sense of safety.
Now, of course, it's super important to acknowledge that not every cat behaves exactly the same way. Just like us humans, every single cat has a totally unique personality. It's shaped by early socialization, genetics, and just their own individual traits. Affection is going to look vastly different if you have a highly introverted cat versus a total social butterfly. Some cats really want their personal space, while others are incredibly clingy. But the key takeaway here is that a need for personal space absolutely does not mean they don't care. Which brings us to our final part, section 5, the call to action. So we've got all this incredible science and these decoded behaviors. Now it's time to actually put it to the test. I want to guide you toward applying this new language directly with your own pet, so you can see the science in action. Let's move to and see how this builds with a practical, step-by-step experiment you can literally try today. Next time you're sitting in the same room as your cat, wait for them to look at you. Step 1, just watch for that slow blink. When they do it, step 2, very slowly and softly, close your eyes right back at them. Then, step 3, just wait for their answer. You are literally speaking their language, reflecting their trust right back to them. And honestly, you might be totally amazed by how they respond. I'm going to leave you with this powerful final thought. Your cat was never ignoring you. That silence, that quiet stare from across the room, the scent they leave on your favorite chair, it's not rejection at all. It is absolute trust. They've been saying, "I love you" in cat language all along. It's just a language that's soft, subtle, and really easy to miss. But it begs a fascinating question, doesn't it? If they've spent thousands of years evolving an entirely new language just to speak with us, what else are they trying to say? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and seriously, I highly encourage you to go try that slow blink with your cat today.